women obsessing all the time, right? That's what we're taught to think. Well, it turns out when you register a woman's brain after having sex with somebody, it's just not any much bigger a deal than having cooked dinner. It doesn't register as this huge thing that changes her world. Isn't that the opposite that we've been taught to think? So it's, we women, we're very connected by the heart. That's a big deal to us, whether we have love in our lives and someone to love. But the way our brains are made to work is to be able to handle, apparently, many partners, many sexual partners, and not have it overwhelm our whole existence. Many things with our pussies going on. We're like having a period and then having a baby, and and if we were just registering everything so intensely, we wouldn't be able to keep everyone happy, I guess. So I'm intrigued by turning the whole thing upside down, like dumping out the whole paradigm of the way monogamy is done, the way that women are left on the shelf in relationships for years on end without being attended to, the way that women and men, go off and have affairs because they actually aren't admitting how high their erotic nature is and how much more they need. So what if we get more open about it so that we can love each other in an honest way that is really unconditional, and it's really about adoring the company of somebody rather than owning them by their sexuality, simply being in relationships that are because you love the quality of life you create together. And you value that person's happiness. You want them to be sexually satisfied, and you hope that it can be you, that you can be the one to make them happy, and if you can, it's such a gift, But what about when they're traveling? What about when you're alone for months? What about when they're sick for a really long time? What about the fact that sometimes if you have another lover, right in the middle of everything going great, it actually can bring more energy to what you have together. These are outrageous concepts. They seem dangerous because they seem like they turn upside down fidelity and marriage. But I would like to say that it's already turned upside down. We're already doing sneaky things. We're already doing miserable things. Long-term devotion that makes people feel like they've sacrificed a whole life rather than been in the happily ever after. So if it's a process, if it's an evolution, if nothing else, the evolution of relationships. Sometimes there have been things like the courtesan women. I think about them in that movie, Dangerous Beauty is a good example of it, where the courtesan women had many partners who were supporting them financially, but they weren't just like fuck her and leave money. They were actually lifelong relationships. It was as if she was married to maybe 15 men or something who she saw every month over her whole life, so that the randomness goes away. The feeling of being loved and really being taken care of into her old age is a factor. So you have the factor that women feel in danger. If we're sexual with more than one guy, we feel like we're going to lose our home and the safety for our children, and this is a lot, and we'll be condemned by our society, and we'll lose our girlfriends. That's a lot of what stifles perhaps what would be the true, more generous nature of feminine sexuality. I know, I'm really being bad, honey. I'm being good bad. Because look, feminine sexuality, if you take the Hmong women of I think it's Western China, there's a society that's still in existence where the women are very free sexually. They have as many lovers as they want. A woman can have 100 lovers if she wants. But the thing is, the well-being of her children and her family status is never jeopardized every time she takes a lover. So in other words, when she turns 13, in the Hmong tradition, they have a courtyard, right? They have a family compound with a courtyard in the middle, and she's given what's called the flower room when she turns 13. The flower room has a door to the outer street and a door to the inner compound. Through the outer street door, any lover she chooses can come in and be with her if she wants them to. And the moment they leave, they have no rights. It's not because they slept with her. Now they have rights to move in or tell her what to do or take over her money or no. So who's going to be the father to her kids? Who's going to take care of her? Well, through the inner door, she goes into the family compound, and there it is her brother who raises her children with her. This is how they trace identity, being connected in a family. So what's amazing is because it's her brother will have like so many things that are in simpatico. They've grown up together. They have the same family tradition, the same deep love, right? And he's known all his life that he will be the father for her children. Now, they do not have sex with her brothers. This is the father to her children. So what happens is because she is safe financially, familially, she's got love and protection and family and home, her sexuality can afford to be free, can afford to be generous, can afford to be explorative, because she won't lose everything by exploring. So how much of your truth is your real truth, and how much of it is out of fear that you'll lose what you have if you were to expand more as a woman or even as a man into a more explorative sexuality? Now for men, I don't know if it's the same. I think for men, like that brother is the one who's got it made, actually, because he's got family and home and children, you know. The other men have to hope they have a sister, you know. What if they don't, you know? So for the men, having home and context is a really important thing, and so you don't want to lose that either. There was another study done that's very interesting. They studied to see who are the happiest people on earth, right? Is it married men, married women, unmarried men, or unmarried women? And what they found is not what you'd expect. The happiest people on earth, it turns out, are married men. Yeah. The most unhappy people are unmarried men. And the second most unhappy people are married women. And the second most happy people are single women. They're single women are really pretty happy. Married men are the happiest. Unmarried men are the most miserable, and second to miserable are married women. That's a statistic. They did over hundreds of families. Maybe they just chose the wrong families, you know. But I think it says a lot that, and we just don't. We got to really look at what's going on here. Basically, men need to serve the feminine divine. They need context. It makes them happy to have a woman and a home and a family and a life. But women need to be able to express their love fluidly. And in marriage, we're often tamped down and told to be less sexy, less of a dancer, less expressive, less connected to other people. We're often isolated. We're told what to do, you know, less freedom, less financial power. So why would we get married? Why do we still fantasize like crazy for that white dress? Could it just be a red dress? Why white? Why does like a hospital or a virgin or unicorn? Like, where's the woman energy in this? Well, I think it's kind of like the whole thing is telling us to be like a girl, to be like a maiden. It's not really set up for woman energy. So the question, if you're going to open up this paradigm and really look at feminine sexuality and ask some questions for yourself, what's true for you, is then you're going to start saying, well, what do I personally really need? Okay, so I guess I should open up a little bit about myself again. I just find that most... Oops, is this still recording? Oh, sorry. I just find that most men in relationships are so busy. They got these great careers. They even have other families. And I'm a sucker for guys with families, because men become so mature when they become fathers, I love that. But then I'm just too alone. My needs are not met. And I have a lot of love to give. And I don't really feel that just so a guy could feel like he owns me and like he's got it all set up and like, I'm his, that I should go without my needs met for weeks on end. Now, if the guy's really putting in his time with me, like a whole life, really staying connected, that's different. That's really different. Somebody in a life with you, connected every day and creating with you and open to sexuality and going deeper and deeper into intimacy. I think a container is really necessary with that to protect it, because that's sacred, But mostly nowadays, I just find people only having so much to give, and it's fair because they have a lot of other things they're doing. And so for me to express as much love as I have and open up to as much sexual and emotional heart energy as I'm ready to receive, it's better for me to have a number of boyfriends. Yeah, 2 or 3 usually. But the thing is, when you think of polyamory, that just is like a lot of different people exploring all the time in an explorative way, I think that's more set up for young people who really need to understand who they are and try different things and find out what their preferences are and explore before they get married. Polyamory seems to be like a valid way of just exploring until you find somebody that you really have reason to just want to hang with them and really get to know them, But for myself as an older woman, knowing somebody deeply, like having a lifelong devotion to them, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 people, that's important to me. Like I want to actually care about them. I want to be able to help them in sickness and health and in poverty or wealth. I want to know what love is and compassion is and unconditional love. And so that to me is over many years. It is another form of monogamy within polygamy. That's what will work. It just ends up working for me. I know that other things could probably work for me too. I'm pretty sure monogamy with one person could work. Just have to be the happily ever after all chakra fairy tale thing. Okay, I love you. I hope that this opens up for you just more possibilities, more honesty, and more possibility for being really, really present in your love life and really connected and in tune with yourself and your truth, and really enjoying and loving who you're with all your heart and soul and all your dedication and all your unconditional love that really can take them in as a full being and allow them to allow you, the freedom to move and grow and expand, and the safety, the containership at the same time, to be held, to be protected, to be honored, to be in a sacred geometry, sacred relationship of divine feminine, divine masculine in balance, finding that balance for yourselves. Thank you. Love life, darling.